first. And then if there's anything left at the end, we'll open it up for questions to y'all on Zoom. But we'll open it up for questions here to anybody live.
Coach, just your overall thoughts, the start was rough, you battled back and then they pulled away again.
Well, the worst thing you can do on the road is allow the home team to start from the tip, and we did. The tone for the whole game was set on the jump ball, and we didn't line up the way they were told to line up. Again, we got to teach, you got to learn, you got to make them understand. I thought we had fight in us to cut it many times, and then we didn't have the experience to make a defensive stop or to get a big rebound. We all knew coming into the game that South Carolina was a piece towards, and it showed again today. I'll give my just utmost respect and comments about how good they are, how big they are, how tall they are, how talented they are. It's South Carolina, in my opinion, and everybody else. And after playing them today, my opinion of that has not changed. They have things that we don't have, and a lot of teams in the country don't have, and we aspire to be there one day.
Obviously, you have a lot of things you want them to learn, but what was your overarching message to the team after this game?
Well, I'd have to think all the things I said to them. I asked them, evaluate yourself individually on this big stage today and critique yourself. What can you do better next time you're on this big stage? Evaluate your teammates. Who did good today? If you thought you did good, raise your hand. And I think one kid raised her hand. Learn from it. I talked to them about guts and grit and just determination, and not just play the game to be playing it. Things like that. I told them this is just one game. There's goals we have, and we've got to take tomorrow off and get ready for Ole Miss, and be thankful that LSU was on this stage. Who in the world would have thought that we would be on this stage in year 2 of rebuilding the program? And you got to be a part of that. You got to be a part of that. You got to help us keep going and climbing to where we're someday where South Carolina is.
Do you feel like this was kind of a wake-up call after the season you guys have had so far?
I don't think it's a wake-up call, Chessa. I think it was a great gauge for me as a coach. If I play them again, there's things I wouldn't do, but I needed to let them go play. I needed to see freshmen in this moment. I needed to just say, okay, let's go see where we are. And I think we got a good gauge of where we are now. Certainly when you're on the road and you got 18,000 screaming fans, you're at a disadvantage, but it was something for me that, I learned about our team and our individual players as well.
Alexis gave you a lot offensively, but she just didn't get any help today.
Well, I think the girls would tell you that, listen, you can't win on this stage with just one kid playing up to her potential. And I think there's a lot of them that would tell you, they did tell me as a coach in that locker room that they feel like they can do better. But we will get on that plane and we will be fine. It's South Carolina and everybody else. And there's 3 more spots out there in the country to get to a Final Four. And who knows if we finish out this thing in the SEC and can finish second and get a good seed in the NCAA tournament, play a couple games at home. Let's see what happens. I don't think we'll be in the South Carolina bracket again. I can't see 2 SEC teams in the bracket again, but gosh, they're really good. And just poise, their experience. I don't know of anything I could tell you that they're weak at. I thought Cook was as impressive defensively as she was offensively. She stays in a defensive stance, and I'm just like, wow, one day my young ones are going to see that, and when they become seniors, they're going to do that.
Speaking about women, Samaya Smith give you some.
Yeah, she did.
That's a bright spot.
She did. Samaya got great experience today. She did. Proud of her.
Cardozo just physically, just no way
Yeah.
to match up.
Yeah, well, we tried playing behind. We didn't get enough help from the guards. Then you 3/4 and you front her and they just lob it up over your head. And she's a presence in the paint. And boy, do they use that paint. When you're that big and tall, I'm gonna stay in that paint till they make me get out because they really do know how to post up good.
I guess the rebounding was kind of the same as last year, kind of the same.
Yeah, we didn't compete, but that's not a surprise to me. That's not a surprise. They just have so many weapons that we don't have. They have the length at all positions and size matters. I've coached, won my national championships were those big girls, 6'7" and 6'5", and it just matters.
You still have March Madness and everything, but it's all the teams you've seen. I mean, are they one of the most powerful ones you've ever?
It's South Carolina and everybody else. South Carolina and everybody else. They have too much talent. They have too much depth. They have too much size. They have everything they need. They have experience. They don't get rattled. You score, you cut the lead, you make a run, boom, they come right back at you.
Interviews, everybody's gonna wonder, we should like.
Well,
play, tough matchups and fill up.
I thought Angel wanted to do good. I thought she was ready to play. She had a good week of practice. Size affected her when she would try to drive, and alter in her shot. I thought in the first half, we didn't execute anything. It was just Lexus Morris and, just go set a double screens up there. But again, Angel wanted to do good. And I think we've seen Angel, compete better on the boards. I'd have to go look at the film to see why she didn't have more rebounds. And I'm just going to tell you, a lot of it probably has to do with them. A lot has to do with them and their talent and their height and their size and their physicality.
Any more questions here in person? We'll open it up for a few questions here on Zoom. Ethan will unmute you if you let him know you got a question.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned about Angel and the physicality. Do you think that they gave her a different type of physicality that she hadn't seen all year?
I don't know that I would say that because, she has seen double and triple teams and she's been able to find the open player out of it. And as I told y'all, South Carolina's not going to double and triple team anybody I have, and they didn't. I just think sometimes you just have to say, hey, they got a lot more talent than LSU. And I just think they have a lot of girls that could guard Angel with, their size and physicality. And I don't think they did anything different than they've probably done against any team that they've played against.
Yeah, a lot of talk of the physicality, I guess, just the idea that now your girls know how much they can bring or what they should bring or will face in the postseason. How much of an advantage is that to see it and now feel it?
Oh, I think it's quite a learning experience today. And we're not going to leave out of here just devastated. Competitors don't like to lose, but I hope when they're on that plane and thinking about the game or next time I'm in that situation or the next time there's no substitute for experience. There's no substitute for confidence. And you build confidence in a program, you build excitement in a program, and we're doing that. And now the next phase is to go get that experience. And today was a good gauge of where we are and where we have to get better.
I noticed, Coach, in the second half, especially with them, there were times where they would get it at the top of the key, and both Cardoso and Aleo were posted up at the same time. Did you see that type of action from them, and how did you even go about defending that?
Okay, let me make sure I understand you. When the ball was at the top of the key in the point guard's hand, or when they had a post with the ball at the top?
At the top of the guard's hand, they would spot shadow it a little bit, and the guard would have it at the top, and it looked like both Cardosa and Aaliyah Boston posted up, and it was just kind of pick your poison of who they would give it to.
Yes, absolutely. It's pick your poison when you play against South Carolina. I didn't think that we did a very good job of just clogging up the paint. I thought that we got buried, honestly, a lot down there. I know that LaDeja Williams is the most experienced post that we have, and she got in foul trouble. So you're out there with Angel and you're out there with Samaya, a freshman. And yeah, they just manhandled us. And but again, hopefully one day Samaya will be in that situation and learn from it. She's just a freshman. I think Angel will grow from it. But you know, I gotta say this, y'all would know better than me that fall of South Carolina, they played pretty dang good today. I thought we got South Carolina's best shot at all positions. And hey, 18,000 people on your home floor. I just thought they were very, very good today.
Kim, obviously, South Carolina has a little bit more depth. How do you, if you possibly see them again, how do you try to cut into that with the ladies that you're not going to be able to bring in more ladies in the next few weeks? How do you combat that?
Well, I have to evaluate the next. I hope we get to play them again. I hope we're playing them in the SEC championship of the tournament. But you know, if I played them again, we would do things as a coaching staff differently. We really use this as a gauge on who are we, what are our strengths and weaknesses, what do we have to do to compete with the South Carolinas. And I thought we learned a lot and things that I would possibly do different. When you play them, a lot of people shorten the game. They use up the clock offensively and don't go try to score until there's 10 or less. Maybe we need to do that. Those are things that if we get an opportunity to play them again, that you look at as a coach and just say, okay, how can we go from a 20-point ball game to a 10-point ball game and help our kids grow and get better?
We have time for 2 more on Zoom and then 1 more here with Scott in person.
Hey, Coach, how do you not let this game be a long-term effect for the
I
rest of the season?
promise you, that has already been addressed. We will not. Now, we will be tired. Everybody in February is tired of each other. Everybody's grinding it out. Everybody's, you know, the games are closer. But this game will not affect our next 4 games. If we lose the next 4 games, it will be because the other team just happened to be better. This is 1 game, and they've been told that. If you win, we walk off the floor. If you lose, you walk off the floor. What this does, it allows South Carolina to be in a position to win another SEC championship, as they should, but nothing more.
Yeah, Coach, you went zone in the second half a bit. How do you feel like that went? And did it surprise you at all how well they executed out of it?
I thought I ate in it too long. I went to it because we were in foul trouble. I went to it because we couldn't get rebounds. So I thought, well, let's try a little zone here. And I thought for the first 3 or 4 minutes, it was effective, but then they started screening Samaya in the middle, and she, you know, battled, but Samaya's a freshman. And, you know, in the next time out, I said, well, if they're going to score that easy in the paint against a zone, we might as well go back to man. So you're just trying a little bit of everything to stay in the ball game.
We'll finish here with Scott in person.
Kim, of course, you're often talking about, you know, the women's game overall. What does this game, big picture, mean? You think, you know, it's Super Bowl Sunday, people are looking for something to watch before the Super Bowl. I'm sure they were expecting a good attendance. And then what is it for your program overall, despite?
Well, first of all, this is a tremendous big deal, in my opinion, for LSU and for LSU women's basketball. You can't put a dollar figure on us being on that television in that setting. And that's for recruits, that's for students that may be considering LSU. Certainly you'd like to win, but there were only 2 teams out there that were focused on today. And that's a positive for LSU. Maybe somebody flipped channels and they'd never seen a women's game before and they watched it for 5 minutes. And if so, that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. But yeah, It's great for women's basketball, but it is especially good for the SEC.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you.